Trey Martin, welcome to the show, bro.
What's up, man? What's up? I'm happy to be here, bro.
Appreciate you. I know you're a supporter of the show. I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. It means a lot to me
Yeah.
just to have you on here. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Trey, you was born in Fort Lauderdale. You moved to Tampa at a young age. Talk to me about what it was like being raised in Tampa, what your upbringing was like.
Well, man, actually, my upbringing it was pretty smooth. I love Tampa. I have a lot of family here. The city of Tampa. That's where all my family comes to visit us. So it's a real cool spot. Yeah, I love the city, man. It's a beautiful city, and I don't live close to the city. I live more towards like New Tampa area, but being here is great. I love the weather. I love Florida. I'm a Florida boy, and I'm glad I'm here still and playing ball here for sure.
For sure. People always say, we always say we live where you want a vacation, stuff like that. Nowadays, we Tampa Bay, we winning with the
Tampa
Lightning,
Bay,
the
man.
Bucks.
Tampa Bay.
The
And we
Bucks
on
are
the come
great.
up for real, bro. We on the
For
come
sure.
up.
Definitely on the come up. You see, I've been seeing a lot of stats about people moving to Tampa, a lot of people moving to Tampa. I've seen
Yeah.
Tampa, Austin, Texas, two cities that people have been moving to a lot. But I think Tampa is definitely a city that's on the rise for sure. As long as we keep winning championships.
Oh yeah, we winning mad stuff right now too. Yeah. Hopefully we can bring another one back this year, man.
For sure. I think the Lightning, we would have three-peated if they lost
Hey.
2 years ago, 3 years ago. So
Yeah. Hey, the Bucks got it, bro. I hope the Bucks got it this year.
we returned 22 starters, so I think we got a good chance.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right now, you play basketball at UT. Talk to me about how you first started getting into basketball and who put the ball into your hands.
Well, bro, I've been playing basketball since, I can't even remember when the first time I heard of basketball. Probably since I was like 1 years old. But I didn't seriously start playing basketball until about sixth grade, bro, which is pretty late compared to a lot of people. And I've loved basketball. It's never worked out because my parents, they're both in the medical field, be busy all the time. And yeah, I never got the opportunity, but the opportunity came to me in sixth grade, started playing on the team I went TCMS at the time. And I was all right because I played basketball before, but not too much skill at the time. And then I just kept playing, started playing AAU in seventh grade. And since then, it's just been a grind, man. I've always been a big man since then. And I mean, I liked it, but I wish I would have started out playing like a guard or something like that for sure.
For sure. I feel like I seen you a bunch on social media as social media became more of a thing. I feel like we got a lot of similar friends, a lot of friends that are
We got a bunch of time.
Yeah, for sure. I also went to TCMS, so I want to talk about that because a lot of people.
Word? Oh, snap, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, go Tornadoes. Yeah, for sure.
Go Tornadoes.
A lot of people don't understand. I tell people all the time. I talked about it on the show, like the kind of grind that was going there. Like, what was it like when you first got there, and what was your experience like there?
Hey, bro, TCMS, that was some crazy stuff, man. I really wasn't expecting that. I knew it was a challenge because it was a good school and all that, but I didn't know how much of a challenge it really would be. And like the course load, I'd say TCMS, bro. I had more homework at TCMS than I did in high school, bro. So it was like balancing that. You had to start balancing your homework and basketball and sports outside of school. You had to start balancing that from like sixth grade. So it definitely helped, but it was definitely a grind as well, man.
Man, so elementary school, my mom a teacher, your parents in the medical field, so I know they on top of you with your grades and stuff. Man, I got the
hey, bro, they be on my head, boy.
I got a TCMS. My story, I was supposed to go to Bartell's, and you know how there's a waiting list at TCMS. So like I got into TCMS literally one day before school started. My dad asked me if I wanted to go there or not. I just said yeah, because I knew that we had lunch. The restaurants had lunch. That was like the deciding factor for me at that time. Like, we get Chick-fil-A for lunch.
Chick-fil-A be busting, bro. Chick-fil-A.
But so yeah, I decided to go to TCMS sixth grade. Mind you, I've been getting straight A's my whole life up until this point. I get to TCMS. We gotta get our planner signed. Sixth grade, you got to get your planner signed every day. You got to write your homework in every class, every day. You got to have your belt buckle, ID, all that kind of stuff. Your shirt.
It's
like people don't understand when I tell people I went to TCMS. A lot of people don't even know what it is, first off, but they definitely don't understand the kind of grind that it took to even make it out of there. That's when I got my first C in 6th grade. I got in trouble. I was crying.
What, bro?
Oh,
First bad grade I got in 6th grade. My parents, they was like, "How you did this?" And I was like, "It's not as easy as you think, right?"
man, my
Nah,
mom had to talk to some parents. My dad had to talk to her. Like it's definitely it takes some adjusting, bro. Like it's not exactly what you said. That's how I was feeling. A lot of long night, a lot of crying. I used to be doing my homework in the car on the way to school, forgetting to get my planner signed, right in the car loop. Like
hey,
everything that you
that
done went
was
through at
my
TCMS, I already know I already know what time it was, bro. How do you think going there and how tough it was helped you with your academics going forward in high school and college?
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. So like, I went to Brooks Debartolo, and that's like TCMS kind of sister school, like next step school. I'd say a lot of people went from TCMS to Brooks. So I had a lot of friends that I knew already going into high school, which was pretty good. But TCMS definitely prepared me probably the best way possible. Like he was saying, like the homework, being up every night, all the hard school. It's not like your normal middle school. It's not. It's like high school work you're doing in middle school. So all that definitely prepared me. It helped me like to be more responsible, be on top of my schoolwork, keep everything written down. And that stuff still translates to college now because they ask you to keep everything down in the planner now too, which I never did in high school because it wasn't really mandatory, but it definitely helps in college because like you have a lot of stuff going through your mind, practices, workouts, you got school classes at different times. It definitely helps. So managing all that stuff during middle school, now it's like habit. So it definitely helps out.
For sure. Like you said, Brooks is kind of like the next step from TCMS. Most
Yeah.
kids from TCMS, they go from TCMS to Brooks or they go to any of the IB schools, wherever
Or
they
IB, like King IB, stuff
King
like that.
IB, Hillsborough IB, stuff like that. I went to Wharton High School. I went to a public school because I wanted the public school experience. I had been at charter schools, private schools my whole life. And when I went to Wharton, like as far as academics, like you said, high school and college, like I've had close to a 4.0 pretty much my whole my whole college career. High school, I had like a 5 point something just because it was so much easier, like going from TCMS to there. What I wasn't prepared for was like the social stuff. Like at TCMS, we got about 200 or so kids in each grade. When I got to Wharton,
Yeah.
there was
Warriors huge, bro.
2,400 kids total in the whole
Yeah.
school. It's more kids in my freshman class than it was in the whole school at TCMS. So like, just imagine that. It was definitely a shock for sure, but
Yeah,
I
so,
got used to it. I'm fine. I made it through. So
yeah. I really wanted to go to Wharton, man. I would love to play there because Coach Sinelli, man, Coach Sinelli different, man.
yeah, he did a real deal.
The real deal for sure. But I mean, I ended up going to Brooks, staying there for years. So
For sure. Like we just touched on, you went from TCMS to Brooks to Bartolo. Talk to me about what it was like starting high school and adjusting to the high school lifestyle.
yeah, man. Well, at first, bro, I ain't gonna lie. My freshman year was definitely my toughest, like academics wise. It was I don't know, it was just a lot more freedom, but a lot more responsibilities at the same time that came with it. And it was like had to start doing stuff that I usually wouldn't do myself. And it was kind of a challenge at first. And I was taking pretty challenging classes like my first year and like two APs, I think, or maybe like one or two. And I started doing Roman that year too. So that was definitely tough, but I feel like TCMS still helped me, even though I struggled like that first year. I mean, I was able to get my grades up and have all A's, and I mean, it definitely prepared me. But freshman year was a little tough for sure. But throughout the whole like process of it, after freshman year, it was just a breeze because it wasn't that hard of a workload, and everything worked out. Like all the stuff translated over from middle school, and I knew they were going to prepare me, so it wasn't too bad for sure.
For sure. Again, I feel like it was the same for me. I had a couple, like coming from TCMS, you start off a lot of the time, if you take the right classes, you start off with probably like 2, 3, 3.5 high school credits. So like you kind of start off ahead and you got to take some harder classes because some of the stuff you already taken. So my freshman year was a little bit difficult too, but once I like got through some of those classes, it was kind of a breeze too. And like my senior year, I ended up I took one AP class and the rest of my classes were pretty much electives for the most part or easier classes. So it was all smooth and it was all worth it in the end, really.
Most definitely. Like my senior year, I barely had any classes actually. I would only come to school about like 2 days. So definitely paid off in the end.
For sure. What was it like playing basketball at Brooks? What was your experience like there on the
Man,
court?
well, freshman year we had a squad. You know that squad. We had Brandon, we had Kay, we had Vel, Jack, Mike. Yeah, we had all them. So we had a little squad and we were playing in like good tournaments and I had the opportunity to play like varsity my freshman year too. And it was real good, real smooth. It definitely got me more into the game. And it was a challenge at first because I had to guard and play against Vel, and that was tough because he's big, yeah, and he played football. But I mean, it definitely got me better, and he taught me a lot of stuff. And shout out to Vel, man, if you're watching this. But yeah, he just put me on to a lot of game. And Coach Dumont is a great, great dude, great coach. Taught me a lot of stuff, and I'm glad I stayed there. Honestly, it was a lot. There were definitely times where I was thinking about going other places because stuff wasn't working out, and like we weren't winning as much as like we should have or could have. But I mean, I'm glad I stuck through, and I'm still got the opportunity to play college ball. So I'm glad everything worked out how it did.
For sure. I know you want to be a Wildcat, man. I know you want to
Hey
be a
man,
Wildcat.
bro, no lie, I would have probably come to Wharton if I ain't go to Brooks, man. A lot of people were trying to get me to come over there. Carl was trying to get me to come over there. Darren before then, yeah.
For sure. Playing varsity as a freshman, that's something that I didn't get the chance to. I played varsity my sophomore year and up. But talk to me about a little bit more about that. Like that's not that easy of a thing to do. That's a real big jump. A lot of people don't understand that if they have never done it before. It's not a lot of the time people don't come into high school ready to play varsity. What was it like being able to practice with those guys? You probably weren't getting the minutes that you would have wanted, or maybe that you knew that you weren't really ready for. But what was it like just playing against better competition than being on JV all the time?
Yeah, man. So when I started and got there, I was playing with JV for a little bit for a few games, but I was still practicing with varsity. Like after JV practice, I would practice with varsity all the time and stuff like that. It would get me a lot better to the point where JV was like almost like not challenging enough. Like I wanted to play more competition and get my game better for sure. And I mean, it was definitely tough. Like that's not normal. And honestly, like I didn't know how much minutes I'd get, but I figured out how it went. And coach told me that you might not get a lot of minutes. Eventually, he told me, and he was like, you might not get a lot of minutes, but it's still a big opportunity, a great opportunity to play varsity as a freshman, get the working practice, and the minutes that I did play, I made the most of them. So it was a great opportunity. I loved it, and I wouldn't have changed anything. I wouldn't have stayed on JV even if I could.
For sure. I mean, that's really all it's about, just getting the experience, getting to travel with the team, getting to play against better competition every day. It's really just like they say, iron sharpens iron. That's really what happens. I did the same thing. My freshman year, I played JV the whole time. Sophomore year, I practiced with varsity every day. I played JV on the weekends, and then from there, I played varsity. But when you practice with better players every day and like higher expectations, higher intensity, like when you go down to JV, it's definitely just a lot smoother. You already ready to play. You done play better players every day. So like, it's just really like a piece of cake, like you said, a breeze for sure.